Hello and welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow and I'm not here with Catherine Holeko and Nicole Eridix. When it came time to record our new episodes for this week, Catherine was traveling with her daughter's skating team and Nicole was visiting her daughter at college, and I was reeling from some entirely self-imposed computer crises. And you know how last week we talked about releasing ourselves from unrealistic expectations and going for good enough? Our good enough this week is a grab bag of past conversations that we found particularly silly and goofy and perfect for listening to again at this stressful time of year. On today's episode, we have a chat about our pets' home security skills and a discarded muffin dilemma. But first, what makes you irrationally angry? We hope it's not podcast reruns. What makes you irrationally angry? Generally, people not being able to read my mind, or even just not doing the things I have specifically said and spelled out and complained so that they would not have to read my mind.
Yeah,
and yet still it doesn't happen. These things tend to make me just
I don't even think that's irrational. I think that's justifiable.
Being angry about it is not irrational. It's the level to which the anger goes once I get started.
I see.
I think it ramps up to a level of anger that is really not appropriate.
But it's deeply satisfying.
It's deeply satisfying, except then I have to apologize after. Yeah. So, you know, I can never really just own it. I need to just be able to say, you know what, you did this, you started it, this is your fault. But instead I have to say, you know what, I got kind of angry. It was inappropriate. So
that sounded really meaningful.
That feeds into the next bout of irrational anger somewhere down the line, but...
Right.
What makes you irrationally angry, Catherine? People loading the dishwasher wrong.
Yes, that is a very close second to my number one, which is being woken up too early. You know, my alarm is set for a certain time and people are making noise before that, or even specifically saying, hey, don't you have to get up? Like, no, I don't. I have an alarm set. Stop it. Yeah. And I think the part where you've just, been woken up is where the irrationality comes from. Like, your brain is just unable to parse, like, what is happening? Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, like, it doesn't matter. Do not cheat me out of my sleep.
That seems like a reasonable request.
Yeah, I mean...
Again, not sure how irrational that is.
Well, I guess, like you, there's a level. Yes.
It very quickly becomes not about just that, but just the entire weight of injustice.
Just the entire injustice of the whole world and everything. Everything in it, yes.
How about you, Nicole? What gets you riled?
Oh, well, this probably comes from my British background, but I can't stand bad manners. I hate, like, if you have bad table manners, or if you, like, don't hold the door open for somebody, or if you don't say please or thank you. I can't stand it. I get very angry.
Yeah, I'm with you on the please and thank you thing. The other things we don't always do so well here. You probably should not come to my house. But the please, when other people's kids don't say please and thank you, I judge.
Yeah, I get so judgy. And, like, I just find, the table manners thing, oh my God, it drives me up the wall. For my kids, like, I mean, whatever. I can't say much about other people, but yeah, that makes me, like, lose it.
My husband is right there with you. Like, when it's our own kids, for sure. Like, the table manners thing will absolutely just drive him away from the table.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'm out of here. I get so mad. I'm like, anyway. And just other people, like, just being rude and cutting in, and like, it just, we were in the lineup for the plane, like, people who don't line up properly, and
Nicole, when I went to Greece, it was on British Airways, and we're at Chicago O'Hare, and the boarding process was completely chaotic, and, like, it just didn't make any sense. And people no one understood where to line up, or where was the end of the line, or who was supposed to be in what line, and it was just like a big disaster. And I said to the guy standing next to me, Well, I thought the British were supposed to be, this was their thing. Like queuing up is totally a British thing. And he said, yeah, but these are American employees of British Airways.
Exactly. They're going to Britain. They're not coming back.
It was very,
they know how to queue up. I mean, like just people stepping in front of other people and not apologizing. And it just drives me nuts. I'll even say something out loud, which is not typically me.
Well, it sounds like they deserve it.
I know. It's not fair. Like, where's the justice?
Yes.
We have to wait and behave. Why can't you?
Yeah. You tell him.
There you go. I'm going to.
Well, we hope nothing we say on this podcast makes you irrationally angry, dear listener. But whatever does make you angry, we are with you. You are totally justified. Feel that righteous rage.
Just curious. You don't have to answer this publicly if you don't want to. But do you have any form of home security in your house, whether it's animals or, electronic or, a baseball bat? I don't know. What do you do to secure your home when you are away from your house? Catherine?
I just have the loud, barky dogs who are, more likely to attack you because they want affection, not because they're trying to keep you out of the house. But they might scare somebody off if they approached our house and heard this racket. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we won't see. But
then, somebody breaks in and the hedgehog will roll at them and scare them and trip them and
exactly. He'll jump
Stealth
in his
hedgehog.
ball. He'll jump in his ball and launch himself at the feet of anybody who tries to come in. Good
right
boy.
Down the stairs. Wasn't expecting a hedgehog.
No.
Well, this sounds like one of those questions that you shouldn't answer any place that somebody can look up where you live, which is anybody seems to be able to do anymore. So I will not say that this is all the security I have, but some of the security I have is, as with Catherine, the barking dog who, barks if anybody gets into about a mile of our house. We have very dangerous mailmen and, garbage collectors. So I imagine, I feel that she would be our alarm system if we did not have another one, say,
right.
Theoretically.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, if we did not have an alarm system, she would be our alarm system. And she also often sleeps either right at the top of the stairs where people breaking in would trip over her and make a lot of noise, or in the hallway that leads to all of our bedrooms, and she's a black dog in the dark. I trip over her all the time, and I know she's there. So,
right.
I think that a black dog in the dark is a pretty good security device. Either she's going to bark and scare people away because they will not know where the barking is coming from, or,
right.
You're going to face plant when you come upon her in a dark hallway. So, and of course, I'm sure that I have ants that can mobilize like that if there was a threat.
And you want them on your side. That's why you're not.
Exactly.
You're not exterminating them.
I'm going to tap the wall and going, they have bait traps. Attack, attack. I am your friend. So we're all kinds of protected here. Do you have some security system, Nicole?
Well, given that I live in Southern California, yeah, we're pretty much a fortress here. It's definitely, we've had to up our game since moving down here. Because just the amount of people around. Lots of activity. So, yeah, we've got the barking dog and the security alarm and then the bars and the windows.
Whoa.
And all of which I'm sure can be circumvented by some, guru.
Some very determined person.
We watch movies, we see, or TV shows.
I know. Oh, and on top of that, we have an awesome neighbor who has a dog, a Great Dane.
Oh, there you go.
And actually, we were in Hawaii a couple of years ago, and the security company, my mom and dad were staying at the house, and they left to go do some errands. And the security company called to say that the alarm at our house was going off. So I'm like, oh no, my mom and dad didn't turn on the alarm system and somebody's gotten in. And because they were saying it's the back patio slider that's been opened or something, right? So my mom and dad were like, you know, a half an hour away from getting to the house. And who knows how long the police would have taken. So we phoned up my neighbor who has his Great Dane, and he courageously came over with his big dog to check out and see if anybody was around the house and see what he could see. But it was just turned out to be a faulty, you know, whatever it is, trigger or whatever it is. But yeah, so we're pretty, I feel like we're pretty secure. So yeah.
So don't go trying to steal Nicole's ketchup chips.
Yes.
Don't mess with us.
Because they're locked down.
It's lockdown city here. Yeah.
Now, I'm reluctant to bring up this question because I think it will involve a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, that's the most disgusting thing I'd ever heard. I would never do that. What is wrong with you? So I trust that you guys, my friends, will be polite in your nose to this question, which is, have you ever fished something out of the garbage to eat it? We recently had a situation where my husband brought some muffins home from work. They were wrapped in plastic. They were, you know, the kind of muffins you grab off a shelf at a store. And, you know, it took us a while to get through them. There were a great many of them. And towards the end, I took a muffin. I ate half of it for breakfast, and I put the other half in a baggie to eat for breakfast the next day. My husband made a number of comments that the muffins were getting kind of dried out, and he didn't think they were good anymore. But, you know, it was fine. It was perfectly moist. It was tasty. So the next morning, I go to look for my half a muffin, and it's not in the cupboard where I left it. And I looked around, and I looked around. I asked my daughter if she ate it. She said no. Didn't ask my son because he doesn't like bananas. And I thought, did that man throw away my half a muffin? So I looked in the garbage, and fortunately there wasn't much in it. It had just been replaced. You know, there's a few things, and I dug down a short while, and there was my half a muffin in its baggie, cruelly discarded. So I pulled it out, and I rinsed off the baggie in hot water, and I washed my hands really good, and I pulled the muffin out, and I slathered it with margarine, and I ate it, and it was delicious. So is this an aberrant behavior on my part? Is this something I should not have done? My husband seems to think it was ridiculous. So has somebody ever thrown away something that you had every intention of eating? If there was like a half-open bag of ketchup chips that somehow made it into the trash, would you pull them out? Would they still be delicious? Or is it just
ask me the hard questions, don't you?
I do. Is it just the germs of it is just too much to overcome? Perfectly good, delicious, crispy ketchup chips.
And if you survive that episode, I'm really happy for you.
Thank you for letting me down gently. I appreciate that. It's not like I was dumpster diving, you know? It was my own personal little kitchen trash.
I personally would not do that. It's just a personal aversion. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I can't.
It was in a baggie. It wasn't just
that's
loose.
Great. All the power to you. I mean, I know somebody who drinks outdated and eats outdated food. I mean, great.
We do that too.
If it doesn't kill you, and you are okay with it, great. I'm already picky with food to begin with.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
And I have food issues, and I have food aversion.
Okay, well, I hope I have not traumatized you by describing eating the muffin, which was moist and delicious.
I taught for, 20 years. I've seen a lot of things get eaten that shouldn't have gotten eaten, so...
You own dogs, too, so...
Yeah, yes, dogs and lizards and cats and fish and you name it. So each their own, okay? You do you. all I got to say about that.
All right. Well, Catherine, help me out here. Would you ever do such a thing? Did I cross the line too far? How do you feel about that?
If it was wrapped,
it was in a baggie that was sealed.
Yeah, then I think you're within your rights. I mean, I'm like definitely a 5-second rule person, and that involves food falling on the floor without a protective plastic bag. So, what's the difference between a trash can and the floor if you have protective?
That is my philosophy. Have you ever done such a thing?
I'm sure I have. Yeah. I mean, if it was
husbands throw things away,
wasn't touching anything gross in the trash can, and it was like, a chocolate cake or something that I really, really wanted. Yes. I mean, also think about all the times when you, as a mom, that you eat your kids' leftovers, and they're slobber. I did the other day drop a peeled hard-boiled egg on the floor. Yeah. And I contemplated what to do next and then decided to throw it away because, I knew the floor had not been mopped in a while. So, and I knew that I had 6 more hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, well, there you go. You could also just rinse it off in hot water and then give it to somebody who didn't see it hit the floor. They would never know. It would be fine.
That's like the Julia Child's method, right? I mean, isn't there a famous thing where she dropped a chicken and just continued?
Yeah, wasting food bothers me.
Yeah, I hate wasting food.
I hate it. So I am inclined to be as liberal as possible in what gets eaten. As is apparent by rooting through the trash.
I mean, rooting through the trash is a little...
Yeah, I wasn't rooting, looking for anything.
I was of the trash.
I was looking to see if he had been so bold as to throw away the banana muffin he knew I wanted to eat, and he had been. He claimed that I was asleep, and he knew if he woke me up to ask me, I would be too sleepy to give a good opinion. So he just took it upon himself to throw out my breakfast.
To throw it out.
Mm-hmm. So... That's it for today's Parenting Roundabout Grab Bag. Hope you enjoyed this round of regifting. Tune in tomorrow for another fun assortment, and please stick with us. We'll have brand new episodes next week, we promise.